Ridiculous. Stay tuned. This is one station. I'm going to go on a little morning tour. It's more of a dormitory style setup. Got to get the kids ready for school, you know. CPS needs those tax dollars so they can steal it and not do anything.
We've identified multiple locations around the city.
You don't want 1,012, you just want 12.
We will not take 1,000 migrants here in the Ninth Ward.
13,000.
Mayor Johnson calls the aldermen to find locations for base camps or other migrant housing because they're trying to move them out of the police department. Our last live stream, or the stream before last, I showed you a picture of the police department and how full they were. They were packed in there like sardines in the lobby. So if you happen to come into the police department asking for help or trying to get to wherever you're trying to get to in the police department, you can't, because you got to step over migrants. They're acting as if they're a homeless shelter, which is really ludicrous to me. They just need to close the borders. Stop accepting people in and close the borders. That's how you're going to fix this problem. And not only you need to close the borders, you need to ship some of these people back. Illegal migrants. We call them migrants now. I guess we're trying to be nice, but they're illegal immigrants. Remember, they used to call them illegal aliens. They used to be called illegal aliens. I don't know if you guys remember that, but they were illegal aliens, like they were from outer space somewhere. But they need to close the borders. That's the only way you're going to fix this engineered problem that they caused this, because they want to be a safe haven for people. Oh, it's inhumane. They're coming from a war-torn country. That's their favorite line. It's like a regurgitated line. They're coming from a war-torn country. And you see all these men coming over here. Ain't no women and children. This is a bunch of men. Bunch of men about to take some construction jobs from you. Anyway, let me stop. This is what Chicago, CBS News, this is what they have to say about it.
What we have learned and how it's being received. Chris.
Good afternoon, Jim and Marie. Undignified. That is how Mayor Johnson describes putting migrants in police stations. He says it's a problem that he inherited. He
didn't inherit that problem. They weren't putting migrants in the police station before you got there. You lying. Why he lying?
Just the last few minutes, CBS 2 has confirmed from a source that the mayor has been having a series of Zoom meetings this afternoon with members of city council. And he has said to them, I want to hear a location or two or three from each of you in your ward that could absorb one of these base camps, or at the very least be a brick and mortar structure that could absorb some of these migrants that are coming to Chicago. In fact, they've learned just today another round of buses are headed here as we speak. Now, there's a headwind in all of this from city council, members of city council, headwinds that say, I don't want any more migrants in my backyard. So that's the backdrop here. And here's the situation. So much of this still remains murky. How many of these tents could pop up around the city? How would they be paid for? How many people would stay there? How long would they stay? Earlier today, the mayor offered some wide lens perspective on this, and we heard from one councilman who's very much opposed to plans that brings more migrants to his ward.
We've identified multiple locations around the city that can be suitable to treat the families and individuals who by law are seeking asylum constitutionally. We've increased our resources to bring.
He used the word by law who is seeking asylum constitutionally, but they came in here illegal. Americans are last for these people. This guy right here, the tyrant governor in New Mexico, Mayor Adams, your people are last. Joe Biden, your people are last. You don't give a one, two shits about American people because you're trying to act like they're citizens of the United States, and they're not. They're illegal immigrants. And Joe Biden has the nerve to be giving illegal immigrants a $2,500 a month stipend. I think that's what I read. Isn't that a slap in the face? You don't even give people here that's on aid $2,500 a month. And not to say they deserve to get $2,500 a month. But why would you give somebody, Joe Schmo, that don't even have any voting powers, that's not a citizen of the United States, have not contributed to the United States, came over here illegally, $2,500 a month. And you give the people that were displaced from their homes that was burnt down in Maui $700 per family, or one lump sum of $700. and their home was burned down to the ground. This is the administration that you voted for. These kind of nut jobs. He's 47 years old and trying to wear a mohawk. You're 47, dude. You got a gray beard. Cut that shit off.
Another agency on board to be able to help resettle these families, to move them into permanent housing faster.
There was not a clear plan. You know you have the buses coming.
I like Alderman Anthony Beal. He's straight and to the point. I think this is the other guy. I think he's over the Hyde Park ward, but we saw him a couple of days ago. But yeah, he's straight and to the point. You didn't have a plan. You just busting people over here and you saying, okay, they're welcome here. And then you want us to deal with it.
Get prepared. There was no preparation, and you know that they were coming. And so now we're having to clean the mess up. At what expense?
What would your residents say about them coming to your ward?
Well, right now I only have about a dozen, and hopefully we keep it that way.
You don't want 1,012, you just want 12.
We will not take 1,000 migrants here in the Ninth Ward.
13,000.
He wouldn't play. He said, we will not take 1,000 of migrants in the Ninth Ward. Now, call it what you want to call it. And what are you going to do about that, Mayor Brandon Johnson? You trying to elect everybody to agree with you. They got a bleeding heart for migrants and these demon ass kids. What you gonna do about it?
1,000 migrants have come to Chicago since last September. They are spread through 16 stations around the city, places, shelters where they can spend nights with their family. But there are untold numbers staying inside Chicago police departments. And that is what the mayor is underlining, saying that has to stop. And with cold weather coming quickly, it's a problem that he says is very much front burner. One other point here, Jim and Marie, our source telling us in just the last few minutes, the city, these are numbers just revealed by the mayor to city council. The city has spent about $116 million so far on this matter. Chicago Public Schools, $1.5 million of their own dollars. A lot of moving parts, these conversations going on right now. As we learn more information throughout the afternoon and evening, of course, we'll bring it to you. For now, live at City Hall, Chris Ty, CBS 2 News.
Chris, thank you for those breaking details.
Welcome to
Unacceptable.
This video is in the police department. It says Chicago police officers are fed up.
The dirt and grime on the ground outside here
This is the police department.
is real. This is the working conditions of the men and women working in the 12th district. And as you enter, this is what you're greeted with. Yep. Good morning. This is absolutely unacceptable and ridiculous working conditions. OSHA doesn't want to do anything about it. The mayor's office doesn't want to do anything about it. Nobody seems to want to do anything about it. City Hall doesn't look like this. Fire departments don't look like this. Every city facility doesn't look like this except for police departments. I can't even walk through the floor to the other side. And I'm not blaming these people. I'm blaming the city for this. Right, tucked away in the corner there. Yeah, well, hell with it. I can get there, right? As you can imagine, even get out the gate over here.
What is that? Did you guys see that? What is this? They got cones and stuff up this, what is it, a kid gate, so they won't go past a certain point. This is ridiculous. This is what they have to deal with your mayor, Brandon Johnson. They want to support open border policies for illegal immigrants. Real estate Jay Jones. Hey, Jay. He said, same man who said large gatherings when people were out there robbing people. You can't demonize the kids. These are large gatherings. It's not mob-like actions. These are large gatherings. Robert Jordan said all these mayors, governors, and senators have to do is tell the president this has to stop and we won't support your open border policy. Apparently, Mayor Eric Adams of New York City cried for help. He's been waving that white flag for a couple of months now. He hasn't received any federal help. It's falling on deaf ears. They don't hear him. They don't hear him at the White House.
The gate over here to go over there. Ridiculous. Stay tuned. This is one station. I'm going to go on a little morning tour. It's more of a dormitory style setup. Got to get the kids ready for school, you know. CPS needs those tax dollars so they can steal it and not do anything. They certainly are more comfortable than the 12th district. There's not as many of them, but it's still not what you would call a professional working environment.
Where they get the suitcases from? That's what. So we gave them suitcases. They get an education. Do they understand English? I would like to know, do you have a translator at the schools that these kids are going to? Is this even sustainable? Supporting something like this? And no one sees the problem with it. Nobody's saying like, oh my God, this is horrific. Finally, Brandon Johnson said, oh, this is inhumane. But so you're going to build some tents, a concentration. That's what their plan is. Their plan, y'all probably didn't understand. Their plan is to build a concentration camp. They're going to have a bunch of tents erected on the street, and it's going to be gated, and you're not going to be able to leave or, come in a tent unless you work at the facility. Does that make any sense? Then they got all this drawing on the floor, probably gang drawing. They got their own tents just on the line somewhere. I guess it's some guys sitting on the line. And then, Chicago gets real cold, so they have to worry about that. Talking about F the police in their own language. But you stand there. This is the kind of stuff that we're supporting. We support, they're running from crimes, a war-torn country. These people need our help. These are war-torn countries, communist countries. And they write on the ground, F the police, and they're over here illegal.